quorum here on the Lewisville City Council agenda. Let's see here. Tonight, workshop. We have discussion of consent and regular agenda items, mobile vendor ordinance update, and an I-35 corporate drive update. And then we'll move into regular session. Council will go ahead and take a look at the agenda for tonight. First up is invocation by myself. Next up is Councilmember Meredith with the pledges to the flags. We do have some proclamations and recognitions for from TRAPS, so I'm very excited about that. Item D1, public hearing, ordinance amending an SUP in order to expand it. Any questions on that one? 2, automobile repair, minor use. Item F, consent agenda. We have last meeting's minutes. We have first amendment to the economic development agreement between Music City Estate and the City of Lewisville.
Oh, is that?
That's Zion.
Is that okay? So it's not tied to old Music City Malt?
No,
okay,
it's not. It's just the name of their.
Okay.
This is just dealing with the conflict between two provisions on the annual grant and the BPP grant.
Item 4, third amendment to the developer agreement with Russell Glenn LLC. Item 5, acceptance of the 2023 Homeland Security UASI grant. Item 6, authorizing the city manager to execute a first amendment to serve Lewisville.
And this, just to clarify, this does not increase the dollar amount that's being provided to serve Lewisville. It's still the same amount.
It's just accelerated.
Yeah.
That chief operating officer is split between 2 locations, right?
She is, and 50% of her time is in Lewisville, 50% is Denton County.
Okay.
I mean, City of Denton, sorry.
Other questions? Item 7, supplemental appropriations. This is our annual reset, making sure everything comes over appropriately. Item 8, Administrative Policy 5.0, Section 10, covered applications.
I have a question about this, actually. So per city policy, do we have a white list or black list of applications?
It's accepted use list, so I mean that's the terminology.
Okay, so it's more an honor system. You're not allowed to use it if you're caught with it, then there's ramifications.
That is correct. Now what we do, we have the ability to inventory devices. Okay. But that is the administrative control.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Item 9, agreement to participate in the TERS 4.
I did talk with Bobby about that, I told her that you would probably be there.
I will be.
Okay.
And they will be approved, the county will bring this to their commissioners tomorrow.
9:30 tomorrow's court.
Is that the effective date or is it?
The big thing on effective date needs to be by the end of the year. So we should be able to, we've worked through our calendars with finance and getting it over to DCAT, we should be fine with that as long as that gets approved tomorrow.
Okay.
This has been a long time coming and we're really grateful for the county's continued support.
Item 10, that's TERS 1, same thing. All right, that is all of the consent agenda. Item G11, alternative standard associated with ground-mounted equipment standards for Walmart.
I do have a quick question about this. So I want to make sure that, I know we're working on standards for screens, and these are relatively new, we didn't have them, that makes a lot of sense. Are they going to be able to claim grandfathered in, therefore they don't have to screen once we get our standards out, or are the standards going to apply to everybody once they come out? The screening standards.
The standards don't require screens, do they?
Yeah, the standards that are proposed would not require screening of ground-mounted equipment, so they would be in compliance.
So what are the standards required?
I don't have them in front of me, and I have to go back and look, but...
Let me just, I'll make the rest more general. So we don't have standards now. We have standards that are in process. The folks that have this today, will they be required to meet the standards when they come into compliance? Would they be grandfathered in with those standards?
If they were granted alternative standards, if they were a time period placed on them like the other Walmart, then those would expire, then they have to come into compliance. So it depends on the situation. But we're just one in general, like this one would be in compliance, so we don't foresee, but there's always the ability to ask for alternative standards.
Okay. Something maybe what I'm hearing. So Wing has an alternative, or has a screening standard requirement that we're working through, and we're looking to standardize that screening for that type of deployment. Zip has a ground-mounted equipment. It doesn't have the same standard requirement because it's a different type of deployment. Is that right?
Yeah, they are both a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I think we've designed the standards to apply to both situations, depending on, we work with both
I
companies.
think it'd be difficult to do though. With the,
Right, because their setup is not, they're not taking up a bunch of parking
Vertical.
spots. They're going vertical.
Yeah, so the answer to your question, though, is if something comes in and vests beforehand, they do vest and they have grandfathered rights. This situation with the alternate standard is actually matching what our proposed regulations are going to be on.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
That
You
helps.
speak Patrick, thank you
I
for
do,
that.
I know you. Speak Patrick.
I didn't know if we were gonna have two different ones just because they're slightly different in their configuration. So, okay, good to know. All right, that's G11. Any other questions on G11? G12, resolution acknowledging the 2025 Republic Services cost of service rates. Item 13, appointment of the City of Lewisville representative on the UTRWD board. Mr. Russell, you're good with this?
Absolutely.
Okay, just making sure.
It was almost like it was my idea.
Right?
I might have been.
No reason to not share the credit. All right, item 14.
Mayor, this was one of our boards,
Yep.
and we have vetted and we talked about Will Hawk.
Will Hawk?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll have one of y'all make that motion if you don't mind.
You do.
Thank you.
I never know how long my voice is going to be.
Okay. All right, and that one's got the funky, you gotta move to accept the resignation, then declare the vacancy, and then add the new person.
Because it's all going to be printed out.
Yeah, it's there, it's the
It's
three-parter. It's the three-parter.
I've already forgotten what you told me to do.
Yeah, we'll get there. We got you backstopped.
Mayor Pro Tem right there, I tell you.
Well done.
Item H, reports. So we got city council and staff reports. Of course, we've got our quarterly investment report. And then workshop, if we need to. Closed session, we do have 2 items in closed session tonight, so we'll cover those during close.
And I understand we have a congratulations. Oh, we can't talk about it, can we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Marichelle.
Marichelle has an addition to the family.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Great job, Marichelle.
I guarantee
I'm sure she's watching.
I'm sure she's watching the YouTube right now.
Superwoman.
All right, if there's no other questions or comments on the agenda, we'll go ahead and move into item B, mobile vendor ordinance update. Pedro Martinez has got the presentation.
Good evening, Council. My name is Pedro Martinez. I'm the sanitary supervisor, and I bring to you today some updates that we will be proposing to our mold feeding ordinance. We are hoping to make this presentation as quick and easy as possible, and if you have any questions, just please let me know. So our goal with the presentation and with the changes that we're trying to make to the code is just basically trying to streamline our code and to make it easy for operators to do business in Lewisville. We are trying to remove some of the restrictions in the code that will hopefully make it much more convenient for operators to pull permits and to do business in our city. And also, we're trying to make the code more concise and easier to follow and understand and less restricted. We are trying also to make it in compliance with current updates and definitions in the state food code. as well as we intend to see an increase in mobile food units in the city. Right now, we have feedback from business owners, from the community, from city staff, just help them, asking for help and trying to ease up some of the requirements so we can see an increase in activities and in terms of food trucks. I just wanted to bring up a little bit of history about where we are today and where we were when we started looking at the ordinance. And 2011 was the last time that we changed the code. And at that point in time, we introduced some language that is restricted in terms of how long can an operator remain in one location, as well as which locations they can go to within the city. And we also excluded in the definition certain types of mobile food units that we intend to bring back. Throughout the course of those years, we came into 2020 and we were looking to make some adjustments to the code. We introduced for the first time the food truck park language in the UDC, as well as we started the food truck park program in our Lewisville parks. And at that point, we had some guidance from this body to try to bring some flexibility to the code, to ease up some of the restrictions and to make it easier for operators to do business. We had COVID in 2020. Things kind of slowed down in terms of food trucks, and as we were coming out of COVID, we got word that the state was looking to change the code to affect some of the counties in Texas. So we kind of paused on the changes that we're proposing today until we had more information from what the state was trying to do at that point in time. And that definitely had an impact in what we were trying to bring to you today. So the state went ahead and made some changes to the health and safety code, and that impacted directly the way that we do enforcement and permitting of mobile food units. Primarily, those two, the two biggest changes that they went and modified the health and safety code, chapter 437, to now include a section requiring municipalities to put up in a registry any local codes that differs from the state law. And before we can go and enforce any deviation from the state code, we have to put it in this registry and wait 60 days until until we get the ability to do that enforcement. So just if we stay in tune with what we're trying to do, the idea is to be as close as possible to the state code. And then another new element that they added was that they added chapter 437A, which essentially what it does is it gives the authority to issue permits to two counties in the state of Texas, Dallas County and Tarrant County. And we think, based on conversation with our peers, that this was the first step into possibly in the future extend this the application of this code to the entire state of Texas, which it could have an implication in how we do our permitting and enforcement here in Lewisville. So why are we doing this? Well, as I mentioned before, we're just trying to make the code less restricted and more in line with the state code. And we did so trying to follow guidance provided by this body. We thought about our traditional brick and mortar places. We're trying to make sure that we respect their operation and we don't interfere with their operation, but at the same time allowing for an avenue for mobile food units to thrive in Lewisville. Also, we want to make sure that the trucks go to the areas in which are important to us as a city, as well as we want to give the opportunity to those involved in the process an avenue to express support or also concern, if that were to be the case. And our intent, again, is just to look at each case individually and give them the opportunity to do business in Lewisville without much restriction in terms of time and location. So one of the other changes that we're proposing is we want to bring back food trailers. This has been a long demand from operators. And that would put us in the same definition as the state law. So we were just essentially adding one more type of vendor. And then also we're looking at trying to simplify the application process by creating only 3 classes of mobile food units instead of 5 that we have right now in the books. And essentially, we're looking at 3, going from just the regular lunch truck that doesn't do any prep on the unit to the full menu, which is our Class 2. That will be the traditional food truck that can pretty much prepare everything in their unit. And then the third one will be just the limited services push cart, which we see around Lewisville. And those can only sell an approved menu of commercially prepackaged foods only. Again, we're just looking to add just a couple of items to our municipal ordinance, not to deviate too much from the state code, but thinking about this new scenario where we're going to have for units more stationary. We decided to make sure that we have some protections there, and any utility connections from the units to potentially a building, the only one that will be more permanent will be the electric connection, and that has to happen in full compliance with the City of Lewisville electric code or building code. And then the rest of the utilities, we're not looking to have any type of permanent connection to the building. The state code requires that those units remain mobile at all time if needed. So again, just a quick recap, we're just looking to introduce small changes to the state code and completely but try to be as in compliance with state code as possible. We're not wanting to do big changes at this point in time. We don't think are warranted. Just going back to those restrictions that we had in our code, we still have. We're working to make some changes, and we're trying to just keep essentially health and safety code language in our mobile food unit ordinance. And anything that doesn't necessarily pertain to that, we're just trying to move it into the UDC. Essentially, any mobile food unit that wants to do business in Lewisville, they have a permit and they want to remain in one location for up to 4 hours, we are not going to put additional requirements on them. If they want to be more stationary, if they want to stay at that location for more than 4 hours, that's when they'll have to move forward and secure a special use permit through our planning department. And none of this will apply to special events. Special event permits will continue to operate the same way that we are operating currently.
And to also clarify and add one more thing, in our research, it looks like best practices has been to separate these locational requirements and put it into your zoning code. It's just not something we've done in the past, other than for food truck parks.
And just to build upon what Claire was saying, if the state decides to move and extend the language to all counties in Texas, and all of a sudden we lose the ability to regulate the food trucks, we have this already in the UDC, which will allow us to bring some order to the process. And again, we're not looking to make it complicated. Instead, we're just trying to make it easy for everybody to do business in Lewisville. We have worked with planning and with Richard and his team just to kind of include the same language that we have for mobile food truck parks and make some changes to where a single truck can do the same type of operation if they want to exceed 4 hours in one specific location within the city. We do have some work to do in this area, but I think we are in the right track, in the right partnership, and we wanted to present you with those updates today in case that you have any questions for us. And then, and I think at this point, just to summarize it, Claire will take it from here.
Yeah, so really, primarily what we're doing is just complying with state law. There are a few minor things we're going to be more restrictive than state law. I also think the last time we came to council to talk about, and obviously many of you weren't on council at the time, or some of you weren't on council at the time, but to get direction, when you saw that direction earlier, it was really focused on, we want to make sure people surrounding businesses surrounding and neighborhoods have a say if you're going to be permanently there. And then we want to look at it on a case-by-case basis. And so I think one of the things we got hung up last time with council was we were trying to create these rules of spacing requirements and notice requirements that were very complex that were put in the health and safety code, or our health regulations, I mean, and at the end of the day, the easiest path and the one that matches and what everyone else seems to be doing is an SUP process, because that does afford you that public notice. It does afford people the opportunity to show up and comment on things. And then also, if there are special circumstances related to where this truck is going to be located, we can take that into consideration with conditions that we put on those SUPs. So really what we're looking for, the team is ready to go. They're drafting it and working with legal, or about to start working with legal if they haven't already done so. But we don't ever want to surprise you guys and with the ordinance without having first briefed you. And this has been kind of on the back burner for a while because of delays and state law changes, that we wanted to come back and have a touch point beforehand and get your input before going forward.
I have a question that is just out of curiosity. What is the difference between a food trailer and a food truck? And why would we not allow a food trailer
Yeah, so,
in the past?
yeah, in essence, there's the presence of an engine in one and not on the other, and that's how it was interpreted and read on the definition. The state code goes beyond those details and provides a definition that will apply to both, a trailer that is pulled by another vehicle, as well as a mounted commercial kitchen on a truck.
So is the reason that we excluded it before is because it just was kind of not necessarily quite as mobile, since it...
That's the language. The language itself, it was outdated, and is part of what we're trying to fix today. We think that there is something to it. The state law does require today that those vehicles remain mobile at all times, and of course the ability of a trailer to be moved is not the same as the unit. So my thought, and I wasn't employed by the city back then, but the way that has been always read is that makes a huge difference in the ability to move one versus the other, and that's how the language was included back in 2011.
Okay.
The language originally came from Dallas, and they were having issues with trailers, just no vehicle and just being stationary and no one to move them.
Oh, okay.
This is why we have longevity is valued at the city, those historic
I was just curious. That makes sense. Okay, now I understand.
I'm really supportive of this. I think these create some really great opportunities to build community, creates little pocket events, those types of things.
They do. Have you been to the truck yard?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's vibrant, it's moving, it's just...
I'm glad to see this coming. I think this has been a long time coming. I'm of the opinion that these do not detract from the restaurants. These can only make the restaurants improve
Right.
their food and their service, because I'm not going to go to a food truck unless the food is good. So I think it brings a lot of, like I say, vitality, community, and everything to this place.
I will say, my main concern is, I don't want to be putting a wine truck right next to the wine house. You know what I mean? I mean, those sorts of things. But if we're going to utilize the SUP process to do this, then I feel like that gives these surrounding business owners a chance to give their input. And so I'm comfortable with this.
I think as you see them pick locations too, that will help us kind of go, oh, there's a demand or a need. There's some mixed use opportunities that we could put in here. It's kind of like a pop-up park or something like that.
Right.
So, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great job. All right, next up we have I-35 Corporate Drive update, and David Zama is going to present. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the gingerbread.
No problem.
It's awesome.
Liz, though.
It's my pleasure.
Well, steal a line from Stacy, welcome
it's
our
good.
road fans.
Do not. Keep it down there.
I happen to be a road fan. Okay, we're going to cover where we currently are with Corporate Drive and I-35. Obviously, both very big road projects here in Lewisville, quite visible. And we're going to start with corporate drive segments 2 and 3. Just going over some figures. The contract cost on segments 2 and 3 of corporate drive is a little bit over $43 million. The construction started this past February, so we're almost a year in. The contractor's estimating in August 2026 complete segments 2 and 3. What they're working on today, they're building the big bridge over the Elm Fork Trinity River. They're still doing some road embankment and drainage work. They've completed the utility lines, so they've really made quite a bit of progress since this past February. Isn't that glorious?
Wow, it is amazing.
What I've got here is a picture. The picture on the left is the Elm Fork Trinity River Bridge. That bridge is a half-mile long. And as you can see, actually we were just out there this past week. They've got all the beams on this main span of the bridge already done and it's set. And they're continuing to work on the piers and the vents moving eastward toward Hofer's Prairie Road. And then over here on the right is a smaller bridge that's closer to Railroad Street.
Can I pause there for a second? So I got the pleasure of going out there for a tour, and I will say what was so impactful for me, not only was the company doing a great job and making amazing progress, but we always talk about our green centerpiece and getting better access to the green centerpiece, and this is such a beautiful, going to be an incredibly beautiful drive for Lewisville. You've got Railroad Park on one side, you've got a landfill that's closing that's going to turn over to a natural area in kind of the old borrow pits. It goes through Bob Hope's nose. I mean, it's going to be pretty exceptional. So.
And this is being done by Sunt, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yes. And the reason we have these photos is because Sun Construction, just on all of their jobs, they usually do a monthly flyover with a drone and take photos. So we get to document our progress.
What date were these taken?
These were the latest ones, so they were probably taken maybe earlier this month or maybe even end of November.
Okay.
So they're probably less than a month old. And then moving on to corporate drive segments 4 and 5, which is further to the east, once after you cross the Trinity River. The cost of those 2 segments is almost $30 million. That one began construction in June of 2024, a little bit later, and the estimated completion on that segment is December of 2027. The contractors cleared almost all the right-of-way. They're working on road and fill, embankment, and they're installing storm drainage and water mains. And here's some photos of those segments. As you can see, they're not quite as far along on these segments, but they're still making quite a bit of progress. And then, visually, you can see it's, quite a huge project.
Right.
And they've got, when we were out there Friday, they told us they've got 2 subcontractors out there working with them. But Sun themselves have 60 people on the job site.
60?
60.
Wow, okay.
Moving on to I-35, we've got our Main Street interchange, which of course everybody is familiar with, and current construction. TxDOT started construction on that back in June of 2023, and they've got an estimated completion date of November of 2026.
For the bridge alone?
Yeah, the intersection.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, we're in for it.
Anyway, and remember, I mean, part of the issue is that there's obviously they have to keep the road open, so they had to demo half the bridge at one time, and traffic had to remain on the other half, and then eventually they'll build the new one half of the new bridge, move the traffic over to the new bridge, and then demo the rest of the old bridge, and then come back and have to build the rest of the new bridge. So I mean, it's complicated project. Just a couple of photos that were provided by TxDOT. The photo on the left is when they were tearing down the north half of the Main Street Bridge. They did that at night under closed traffic. And then the picture on the right is they're actually constructing piers for the new bridge.
Which way is that facing?
That should be facing, is that south?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's south. So they're on.
It's facing south?
Yeah, so, but they're on the east. They're on the east side, south of Main Street.
Okay, by the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the schematic for the Main Street intersection. As you can see, it includes not only the overpass, but it includes quite a bit of the main lanes, part of the managed lanes, and obviously quite a bit of the service roads. You can see by the schematic that the footprint of I-35 holds the west right-of-way line fairly close, and it is being expanded to the east toward the hospital.
So is there a possibility that the bridge itself could be finished sooner than November 26th?
Well, the bridge itself will be done before then. I don't know how soon before then, but that's their next step. Actually, is that they're already doing piers for the first half of the new bridge. So that's their next phase, is to get that northern half of the new bridge completed and get the traffic moved over so they can start working on the south half of the new bridge. So they are focused on the bridge.
So we're at the worst of it with the bridge right now.
Right.
She wants hope. She just wants something.
Just give me something that I can, keep my spirits up.
Just kill Main Street, Julie.
I love the amount of hope you have. Yeah, Fox and Valley, great alternatives.
No, proceed. Don't remember Fox.
David, one question. Does it pinch down, like, go back to that map you just had? I thought it was supposed to be 3 lanes all across the service road. At Fox, does it pinch down to 2 and then come back? Like, if you go at the bottom right, that looks like that's the Fox Bridge. So it goes down to 2 and then back to 3?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have 2-lane surface road south of Fox. And so
I thought it was supposed to be 3.
I thought it was 2 lanes through with turn lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, but then we've got 3 lanes. The new service road that they're building is 3 lanes. At some point.
Okay. That's what I thought.
After they build the ultimate I-35, all of it will be 3 lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a breakout
That's
project. We got this advanced a couple years back before the rest of the full project is done.
We're gonna be dead before that.
Well, I just remember it was part 2. I saw it in the schematic.
Optimistic a second ago.
Real business.
We'll be dead before it goes away. It's okay.
Don't say
Phase 1 is what AGL did several years ago.
Right.
This is called Phase 1B.
Oh,
And 1B are the 3 interchanges, Main Street, Business 121, and Corporate. Okay. I think some of you have seen this before. We are going to do some lighting here at the Main Street bridge. Here's the Fighting Farmers mural that we did here a while back, a nighttime view and a daytime view. Here's a couple of the other murals that are going to be built at Main Street. And of course, we got our Fighting Farmers Way sign that we funded here a few weeks ago. And the one thing I wanted to mention here is at one point we were of the understanding that the signage on the main lanes, indicating the exits, was going to say Fighting Farmers Way, but it's not. It's just going to be the actual signage on the main lanes as you approach the ramp is going to say Main Street for FM 1171. So
They felt there might be a confusion related to, because Fighting Farmers Way was just that stretch. They wanted to keep it Main Street.
That would have been nice, but just
So really, we're just gonna have the sign on the bridge that says Fighting Farmers Way as you go under it?
We could fix that.
We could.
You would have to change
Change
all,
the name of the road.
all the way to Flower Mound.
We had to change the bridge name, that was
Well,
unnecessary.
change
that's
all
a
those
whole
businesses.
It's a whole other issue.
Yeah, that.
We can jump off that bridge when we come to it.
2026.
And of course, we've seen this before, the bridge will be widened, it'll have the Texas U-turns, it'll have 3 lanes in each direction, we'll have a multi-use path on one side, and a sidewalk on the opposite side. Moving on to Business 121 and Corporate Drive. They're doing the 2 interchanges, but because the 2 interchanges are so close together, they're also going to be restructuring the main lanes between the 2 intersections. So when TxDOT finishes these projects, which they haven't started yet, but they will be shortly, we'll have ultimate I-35 section all the way from Business 121 down to Corporate Drive.
Wait, so they're gonna start these 2 before they finish Maine?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Fox Avenue.
Fox Avenue.
Fox Avenue.
Everybody can't go Fox Avenue.
No,
I
they
mean,
can't.
It'll still be open, it's just gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be a nightmare.
And I'm gonna be hearing more sirens.
Yeah, now, I'm not certain they're gonna be able to keep Corporate Drive open because it's only a 2-lane bridge now. So Corporate Drive is probably gonna be closed for a while once we start, but Business 121 will remain open at all times. This project, Business 121 and Corporate, they're going to let the project in January next month. And there's an estimated 4-year construction schedule on it, so they're looking at a 2029 completion. And again, we pay for aesthetic improvements as we go through the other interchanges. Here's the schematic of the Business 121 interchange. It's going to be more of a standard diamond with the frontage roads. With the frontage roads coming up to Business 121 rather than all those loops and odd, angles. There won't be a flyover anymore either, but it'll be more of a standard diamond style interchange. The other thing that's happening with the Business 121 is our realignment of Mill Street. Right now, Mill Street comes in at that odd angle, very close to I-35, and it quite often gets backed up because the signals are so close. TxDOT is going to realign South Mill Street and move the intersection back so that it aligns with the Northwood Mobile Home Park driveway. And so we'll be able to have a 4-way signal at that location, and that'll pull that signal back away from I-35. Again, Business 121 is in the Old Town District, so the murals are very similar to Main Street, with the train and the car and the buildings. And again, this will be very similar to the intersection of FM 407 in Business 121. At Corporate Drive, there's going to be some huge changes. Right now, Corporate Drive goes over I-35. When TxDOT is finished, Corporate Drive will go underneath I-35. So they're basically going to be elevating I-35 and taking the bridge out at Corporate Drive and putting Corporate down at ground level. And again, they'll be doing away with all these jug handles, and you'll just have a normal service road and exits.
Can you pause there for a second? So on those jug handles, typically the policy for the state is that they give the city the first right of refusal to purchase those properties from them. And sometimes it makes sense from a landscaping standpoint. Here you have a lot of businesses that just don't have great access, and I think this is going to be an immense opportunity from an economic development standpoint for us to work with businesses who want to assemble there and do something bigger and better, or expand their businesses that are currently there.
It'll be good for there.
And again, when TxDOT is finished, the corporate drive will look very similar to FM 407. And the murals down at Corporate Drive are a little bit different because it's in the park zone of the I-35 corridor. So the murals will be more park themed. So with that, I'll answer any questions you have.
I had a question about bollards, but I'm going to save it.
Actually, did you talk to them about the pedestrian trail or pedestrian path on Corporate, so they're aware of that? I meant the corporate, I'm sorry, our Corporate Drive extension, not
Our
I-35.
Corporate Drive extension. Okay, yeah, on Corporate Drive, we've included a 12-foot multi-use trail on one side of the roadway. It's 12-foot wide, the whole length. And then the opposite side will be a 5-foot sidewalk, minimum 5-foot sidewalk. So we'll have that bicycle pedestrian connectivity all the way through the corridor.
That ties into what we have, the DCTA trail down by Railroad Park, and so, yeah, it's great. David, thank you. I knew asking for this was going to create some anxiety for some folks here, but I think it's important that everybody got a quick update on what was going on. We have a lot of dirt moving in this city, and I know it creates some frustration, but I think knowledge helps people get through that. So
I think it's unfair that I had to listen to that presentation when these things are sitting next to me right here, stress eating over here.
all right, if there are no other questions, we will go ahead and break from the workshop, and we will reconvene in the regular session at 7 p.m. Thanks, David.
It's gonna be a nightmare if I don't hear.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, there. All right, it is 7 o'clock, and we're going to call this meeting of the Lewisville City Council regular session to order. We do have a quorum. First up on tonight's agenda is the invocation, and if you would all please stand and join me in a time of silent introspection and prayer. Sorry. Amen. Councilmember Meredith, could you lead us in the pledges?
Please join me in the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good evening. Looks like I have some awards, and Rita Loki and Angela Llewellyn. And then I've got Ignacio Mejia and Katie Urdialis. I'm sorry, I'm butchering a couple of names. So if I could have all y'all come on up here, because we're gonna do these all at once. And park staff. Yep, park staff too. Because y'all earned this. You need some spotlight here. So I have a few recognitions to give out here. And these are all from TRAPS, which for those of you who don't know, that's the Texas Recreation and Park Society. So this is the North Region Award recognitions. So we brought home a bunch of hardware from TRAPS this year. So I want to recognize the folks for that. So first up, we have Excellence in Park Design for Glory Park. And we want to commend the Lewisville Parks and Recreation Department and Kimley Horn on receiving the Texas Recreation and Park Society's North Region's Excellence in Park Design for Glory Park, Parque La Gloria. Purpose of this award is to recognize a park development project which displays a high degree of professional design quality and recreation usage, and to encourage and expand cooperation between design professionals, parks and recreation professionals in the community. And I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of Lewisville, on behalf of the City Council, extend a congratulations to the Parks and Rec Department and Kimley Horn on December 16, 2024 for this well-deserved honor for designing a unique and special public space driven by community engagement and that connects long underserved community with a park within a 10-minute walk of their front doors. So that's the first one. Let's give them a hand for that. And then we also have Angela and Rita. I've got Angela here is our Advocate of the Year. Need to learn how to do that. That whole advocating thing. We gotta get a whole bunch more people, because that's that squeaky wheel work, and you do it nicely. You do a great job of it. We want to commend Angela on receiving the Texas Recreation and Park Society's North Region's Advocate of the Year. She's a textbook definition of an earth warrior, park fan, and advocate. Angela is a Texas Master Naturalist, a veteran of the Parks Board and our Blue Ribbon Committee, and a board member of the Friends of the Lewisville Lake Environmental Learning Area. Angela recently retired from her role as a librarian at Central Elementary School and doubled down on her commitment to the children of Lewisville by merging her passion for teaching with her appreciation of nature. Leveraging her relationships with the city, LISD, and UNT, she helped establish natural pathways, giving students the opportunity to collaborate on research and restoration projects with the goal of inspiring them to pursue environmental studies in college. She's a reliable and versatile volunteer. She continuously gives her time, talent, and resources to enhance the Lewisville Park system and strengthen residents' connection to nature. And I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of Lewisville, on behalf of the City Council, extend a congratulations to Angela on December 16th for this well-deserved honor and give thanks for her service to the community. You had a chance to advocate. It was right there. All right. And then we also have for Rita Loki. Loki?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you, Rita. She is our TRAPS North Region Part-Time Employee of the Year, and the Lewisville City Council would like to commend Rita on receiving the Texas Recreation and Park Society North Region's Part-Time Employee of the Year. This recognition honors the valuable role that part-time team members play in the provision of park and rec services in North Region communities. A longtime part-time environmental educator at Lila, Rita uses her knowledge as a Texas master naturalist and approachable demeanor to foster meaningful nature experiences for participants, particularly with outdoor camps for youth aged 7 to 12. Her leadership in these camps has strengthened community engagement and created a staircase to stewardship by deepening participants' connection to the natural environment. This accomplishment reflects Rita's exceptional dedication to professional growth and her contributions to the parks and recreation field. And I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of Lewisville, on behalf of the City Council, extend our congratulations to Rita on December 16th, 2024. Thank you so much. And I'm looking at this, and we have 2 copies of the Glory Park one, so we're going to hand those to, we got 2 different folks. I don't know how that works, but somebody will tell me. But regardless, folks, this is your team. They are being recognized statewide, nationally, for all of the great work they're doing. Let's give them a hand. Anybody have anything to say? Any words? Any wisdom? Go Parks? Go Parks. Awesome. Do I need to stand over here? Okay. Thank you all. It's awesome. And for those of you questioning parks are what make cities great. Well, they do. We have an amazing team, an amazing team. So, all right. Next up. All right, next up on the agenda, public hearing. Item 1, public hearing consideration of an ordinance amending ordinance 0712-24-SUP in order to expand the special use permit granted thereby to allow 2 automobile repair minor uses on portions of an approximately 1.5871 acre tract legally described as Fairway Business Park Addition, Lot 9, Block A, located at 1504 Eagle Court, save for the portion of the tract specified by and subject to Ordinance 0317-21-SUP Zoned Light Industrial District as requested by John Lamb of All Trades on behalf of AIP Eagle Court LLC, the property owner, case number 24-11-20-SUP. The property at 1504 Eagle Court was developed by All Trades for flexible office warehouse uses. 2 special use permits have been previously approved for small-scale automotive repair uses where all work is done inside of the building and all cars are stored inside the building. The subject property, which is located at the end of the cul-de-sac, is suitable for a 3rd automobile repair minor use since the site is surrounded by other office warehouses, uses on 3 sides, and a large electric utility substation to the north. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval 7-0 on December 3rd, 2024. It's recommended that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above, and we do have Mr. Richard Ludke, our Planning Director, available for questions. The public hearing on this is now open. I don't believe we have any public comment on this. Do we have any questions?
I do have a question because I just want to make sure that I fully understand. So we've already approved an SUP for Detailer Automotive, and then another one last month for Texas Star Automotive. And this one is for 2 additional, for this one for Liberty Hale?
This will be 1 additional for a complete total of 3.
For a complete total of 3, okay.
Yes.
I misunderstood. I thought we were approving 2 additional with this amendment. So it's,
This amendment
that
will-
includes the one for Texas Star?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Richard, also for clarity, there's 6 other businesses, not automotive, but similar, HVAC and other types of compatible businesses already in this office park, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
I have a motion to close and a second. All those in favor signify by voting. Motion passes unanimously. The public hearing is now closed. I'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
Move to approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. City Attorney?
This is an ordinance of the Lewisville City Council amending ordinance number 0712-24-SUP in order to expand the special use permit granted thereby to allow 2 automotive repair minor uses on portions of an approximately 1.5871 acre tract legally described as Fairway Business Park Addition, Lot 9, Block A, located at 1504 Eagle Court, save for the portion of the tract specified by and subject to Ordinance 0317-21-SUP and Zone Light Industrial LI District, providing for repeal or severability, a penalty, and an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item E, Visitors Forum. Speakers must address their comments to the mayor rather than to individual council members or staff. Speakers should speak clearly and state their name and address prior to beginning their remarks. Speakers will be allowed 5 minutes for testimony. Speakers making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks may be removed from the meeting. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, clapping, and similar demonstrations will not be permitted. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Action can only be taken at a future meeting. I have no public comment at this time, so we'll move on to item F, consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests. For a member of the public to request removal of an item, speaker card or e-comment must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. I have no requests from the public for removing anything from our consent agenda. Anything from council? If there is none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. Item G, 11, regular hearing, consideration of an alternative standard associated with ground-mounted equipment standards for Walmart on 20.9714 acres located at 190 East Ground Grove Road, FM 3040, legally described as Lot 2, Block A, Campbell Ranch, Zone Light Industrial District, as requested by Juan Mariera of Kimley Horn on behalf of the owner, Walmart Real Estate Business Trust. Item 24-08-12-ALT-STD. Walmart has been expanding its business operations to include drone delivery services. Drone delivery service is already available in Lewisville at the 801 West Main Street Walmart location provided by the drone operator company Wing. Zipline, another drone operation company, will be providing the service at the 190 East Round Grove FM 3040 Walmart location. Walmart is requesting an alternative standard to waive the screening requirement for ground-mounted equipment, as Zipline uses 21 and 29-foot tall launch towers for their docking stations and launch pads. Staff is in the process of drafting supplemental standards for unmanned aircraft systems, also known as drones, which will address screening requirements. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval 6-0 on November 19th, 2024, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the alternative standard as set forth in the caption above. Mr. Richard Lutke, our Planning Director, is available for questions. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the alternative standard.
Move to approve the alternative standard as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 12, consideration of a resolution acknowledging the 2025 Republic Services cost of service rates for franchise solid waste and recycling services, and consideration of an ordinance amending the fee schedule of the City of Lewisville by amending fees related to solid waste and recycling services. On November 16, 2020, the City Council approved an exclusive franchise agreement for the collection of residential garbage, refuse, yard waste, bulky waste, recyclables, containerized waste, and multifamily recycling with Allied Waste Systems Incorporated, doing business as Republic Services of Lewisville. Ordinance number 0277-11-ORD became effective January 1, 2021, establishing the terms of the agreement. Per the agreement, the cost of service rates are to be adjusted annually by the percentage increase in the garbage and trash index for the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the preceding 12-month period. Adjustments take effect on January 1 of the subsequent contract year. The current garbage and trash index for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, reflects an increase of 3.75%. Per the contract, cost adjustments shall not exceed 5% in any contract year and 15% in any 4 consecutive years. Therefore, Republic Services' cost of service rate will be increased by 3.60%. effective January 1, 2025. It's recommended that the City Council approve the resolution and ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Council, if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the resolution and ordinance as set forth in the caption.
I have a motion, and I have a second. City Attorney?
This is an ordinance of the Lewisville City Council amending the fee schedule of the City of Lewisville by amending fees related to solid waste and recycling services
providing a repeal or severability and an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
Council, if you'd please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 13, consideration of appointment of the City of Lewisville representative on the Upper Trinity Regional Water District, UTRWD, Board of Directors to complete the term ending May 31st, 2025. Due to the departure of Assistant Director of Public Services Kelly Rouse in December of 2024, the City Council will need to consider a new appointment to fill the vacancy of the city's representative to the Upper Trinity Regional Water District Board of Directors. City staff recommends that Director of Public Services Aaron Russell be appointed as the city's representative. Representatives on the UTRWD Board of Directors serve a term of 4 years, and the current term Kelly Rouse was serving in was set to expire effective May 31st, 2025. It is recommended that the City Council appoint the Director of Public Services, Aaron Russell, to serve as a board member on the UTRWD Board of Directors as set forth in the caption above. Council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I am pleased to move to appoint Aaron Russell to serve as a board member on the UTRWD Board of Directors as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion passes 6-0. Aaron, would you like to make any statement of fact for the record?
Our acceptance.
I'm just excited to serve.
Early water level.
Early late level.
Thank you so much for taking the time. It's important that we have great connectivity with our water districts, and we have a lot of options when we have to deal with water, so it's good to have that conversation and be at the table. Item 14, consideration of acceptance of the resignation of Akbar Alana, declaring a vacancy exists, and an appointment to place number 2 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. A resignation was received from Akbar Alana, place number 2 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. 5 applications have been submitted meeting qualifications for service in this position. It is recommended that the City Council accept the resignation, declare a vacancy exists, and consider an appointment to the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee as set forth in the caption above. Council? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the resignation, declare a vacancy exists, and appoint Will Hawk to the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? None. I'll go ahead and vote. Motion passes 6-0. Item H, reports. Reports about items of community interest regarding which no action will be taken. I'm going to start over with Councilmember Kelly, if that's okay.
Sure. I just want to say, Fire Truck Santa Claus, again, another big success this year, so thank you for the fire department for all your help in making that happen. I think we're about done with the whole city already, which is a little disappointing for those who are going to escort this week a little bit, but fantastic job. Thank you for that.
Councilmember Green?
I was just going to mention, since this is our last meeting, I believe, of the year, that I want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday and New Year and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and all the things.
Councilmember Jones?
Well, since Councilwoman Green stole my she beat me to it. Just happy holidays to everybody. Kwanzaa and Boxing Day to our neighbors to the north. Enjoy your holiday, whatever you celebrate. It's a time for family. Whether you're grateful for them or they're a headache, they're your family. So enjoy your time. We'll finish off the year strong, and I'll see you guys again next year. We'll start all over again.
Councilmember Cade?
Ditto and ditto. And I would just like to add that during this holiday season, and as we're all stressed and everything, just relax. Practice the pause.
Thank you. Councilmember Meredith?
Yeah, I don't think we had a chance to thank staff for the holiday stroll. I think with the conditions, I think everything went off well. The drone show was fantastic. So I think we need to do that again, but I appreciate everything what happened with the stroll. It wasn't the parade we wanted, but we got everything else in, I think. Some library activities for the week. December, De-Stress for Teens, age 13, 18, Tuesday, December 17th, 4 to 6. Wednesday, December 18th, 4 to 6. Bennett Program Room, no registration required. Story time at Dragon Park for families with children of all ages, Friday, December 20th, 9 to 9:30 at Dragon Park, no registration required. And English Conversation Hour, Friday, December 20th, noon to 1 p.m., Crawford Meeting Room, no registration required. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Troyer?
Yes, I have a number of items for the Lewisville Grand Theater. First of all, Children's Magic Show with C.J. Johnson on December 17th, presented by the Lewisville Masonic Lodge. Acoustic jam sessions every Friday evening as usual, 6 to 9, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville. A number of activities. There is a neighborhood grant workshop will be on December 17th. And Body Weight Boot Camp presented by Case Cortez, Thursdays on Wayne Ferguson Plaza through December 19th. So I guess that ends soon. Then exhibitions right now, the Gift of Art, an art sale exhibition presented by the City of Lewisville going through the 20th. And small gifts presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville through December 27th. And that is all.
Thank you, sir. City Attorney? City Secretary? Richard? Nothing? Okay.
Mayor, City Council members, park fans, just a reminder that we have started our monthly community beautification events that happen on the third Saturday of every month. If you haven't been enticed by our latest video by Chris Chastain to register, you still have time to do that at playlewisville.com. We'll be at Thrive Nature Park, eradicating that invasive species privet. So if y'all want to come out and help us with that, you can. Just a reminder, Thrive in Leela will be closed on Christmas and New Year's Day. But we do have the first day hike at Thrive Nature Park, and you can register, learn more about that if you want to get out there and just get outside and kick off the new year in the great way.
Awesome. Thank you.
I do have the lake report, so we are holding strong at 85.3%, 518.81 feet.
Thank you.
Just want to wish everybody happy holidays.
Chief? Chief?
Yeah, I just want to report this Thursday we'll be doing our annual Shop with a Cop event. It's going to take place at Target. Much of the kids are going to meet at the Next Steps Church right about 4:30, and then they'll be out at the Target between about 5:15 and 6:15 p.m. We'll have a bunch of police officers out there volunteering with them as well. So
we'll see a bunch of what's going on at Target on social media.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
perfect.
okay. That's fine. It'll be Santa.
Yep.
With the police this time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. City Manager? Just a quick update. There was a Centennial newsletter that has been created. So if you are interested in learning about the Centennial and all the events coming up this next year and want to be in the know, just head over to the city website and search for Centennial. You'll find the newsletter there. In fact, you'll find a ton of great newsletters that can keep you in the loop on all sorts of activities. And for those of you who are out there, find something to do with people. Build some community. The holidays get really lonely, and unfortunately I think social media and some of the other things that we deal with in our day-to-day world have created a lot more loneliness. So, reach out to that friend you haven't talked to in a while. Reach out to that neighbor. This is the season for that. So, take it under advisement. You need to step up. I think we all do. We can make things a little bit better around here. So, with that, I do have a couple of closed session items. So in accordance with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551.074 Personnel, City Secretary Thomas Harris III, Section 551.072 Real Estate Property Acquisition, and Section 551.087 Economic Development, as well as Section 551.071 Consultation with Attorney. We are going to move into closed session.
Mayor, just to clarify, the consultation with attorney.
Oh, consultation with attorney is
related to the item.
Is also related to item J1. Thank you.
shivers? Are you getting
Was it the
sick?
ghost
of City Hall?
They turned on the AC just for you.
I get that every now and then. I'm just like,
They need to get you like a little suit to pump air conditioning.
looks like a marshmallow man.
Right.
The marshmallow.
But you'll be cool, that's all.
True, true.
Council, we're going to reconvene back into regular session. Is there any action to be taken?
Mr. Mayor, I move to table item J1 until the January 6, 2025 meeting.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. So there's no further action to be taken on tonight's agenda. We stand adjourned. 9:58.